You are listening to And That's Okay, the podcast devoted to encouraging you to live in your truth in a society where reality is not what's socially popular. This is a community where you can be a novice about anything and feel comfortable about it. Join me as I have the conversations I wish I had years ago and want to hear more of. Nothing is off limits and there is no shame or judgment here. Listen, doing all this self-work is bound to piss a few people off, and that's okay. Thank you for tuning in. I'm your host, Angelique Royale. Let's get into it. Welcome back to another episode. I am joined today by Dee. She is a certified yoga instructor. She has holistic therapy, does yoga, massage, meditation, all the good stuff that I am trying to get into and learn more. I thought this would be an amazing episode for anyone else who is interested in learning how to be better at self-care, because that's how I look at it, as self-care, taking care of yourself, slowing down. So I want to go ahead and let Dee add to the introduction that I just did in case I missed anything.
Okay, sure. So yes, I'm Dee, and one thing that you missed was that I have a professional background as a school psychologist. So I did that for about 10 years. And then the yoga and everything else came along. I'm also a Reiki practitioner. You got massage, yoga, like waist beads. I do all the things that will help people, women especially.
Oh, that's good. I didn't know you had the child psychology, right?
School psychology specifically.
School psychology, right? Yeah. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. It makes sense because you're a teacher, so you have to be able to, teach. So I know that you are currently abroad. If anyone doesn't know, she is located in Mexico, Playa del Carmen, correct?
Yes, Playa del Carmen.
So tell us a little bit more about that.
Sure. So I moved to Playa del Carmen in 2020. So I'm approaching 3 years of being here. And my move to Playa del Carmen was not my plan. My original plan to move abroad was to go to Thailand and live there and help me with a career change, because I didn't want to go back to university or college again. I've racked up enough of the debt that comes along with that. So I wanted to make a career change and just a lifestyle change in general. So I was planning to move to Thailand, and then the pandemic happened, so I had to cancel my Thailand flight. And I ended up in Mexico. It was just kind of random.
How are you adjusting and liking so far, since it's been a few years?
It was a very huge adjustment, actually. I finally feel settled now.
Okay.
I feel like I'm more in a groove. I understand what I'm doing with my life, because so much changed in almost every area of my life, in ways that I was not prepared for, could not have been prepared for. So I finally feel like I'm in a good space now. I have to do a lot of work.
Yeah, that's good. Now, is Thailand still in the plans? Okay.
I still desire to go to Thailand. That's a dream place of mine to go and stay for a while. So yes.
Oh, that's neat. I think it's so cool. I see you on Instagram and posting your whereabouts and the yoga you do in Mexico and all that. And I was like, that is so cool. That's something where I would be extremely scared to be out there without any family, because there's no family or anyone out there with you, right?
No.
So it's a cultural change and a different lifestyle that you have to adjust from the city life. And then going out there and learning how to exist in that space.
Yeah, it was a huge change. And you're right there. I had a cousin who lived here for a little while, and she went back to the States. But yeah, otherwise it was just me, and I had to meet my family, meet my tribe, people here, so I could have that support system. But it takes a while.
Yeah. That's so cool. I'm just sitting here just oh my God. I go to vacation. Mexico is vacation a few weeks, hotel. I'm good. But it's to think about living in another state is something that's just a real huge adjustment, but I think it's really cool that you do that, and
Yeah.
you're making it work.
Yeah. And like I said, it is work, but I'm grateful that I've given myself this opportunity, that this opportunity is here, because it's very different, and I've always seen the world a little different. So to live somewhere different and see how they live, and there's still a lot of ancient practices here. So like indigenous people, the Mayan people, their practices are still here, which is not common to be able to see firsthand when you're in another country normally. So I'm grateful for that. They still have their connection to the land here. And I get to like witness even just a little bit of it.
Oh,
yeah.
That's nice. Did you get certified in yoga in Mexico, or did you do that before you got there?
No, I've been a registered yoga teacher for about 6 years, I think now.
Okay.
So this happened when I was living in Virginia.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's just from what I see on your Instagram and everything, it just looks like so peaceful. The space you create.
It's much different from city living for sure. It is relatively peaceful. Yes, I can't even lie. And I prefer it to be that way. I was just in the States recently in DC for a while, and it was lovely to be there. I was able to see the things that I missed, and also like now that I'm in a place where like nature is the big thing, I was able to appreciate the nature in DC a little bit more.
Yeah.
But also very grateful for the peace that I find for the most part living here. It's very different. Mm-hmm.
So you're into holistic therapy. Could you tell me a little bit more about the practices you do and what you offer to others?
Sure. So, and I think one of your questions was, what is holistic health or holistic therapy? So when we use the word holistic, we're talking about like your whole self thing, everything that makes up who you are. So we have like a lot of systems, that our bodies, they work together. We need one to know what's going on with the other, or to even support the other. And so when we talk about holistic care or holistic therapy or anything like that, anything holistic, we're looking at the whole of the person. So that's your emotional, spiritual, physical, intellectual selves. Okay. There's so many parts of ourselves that help to kind of make us whole. And so when we think of therapy, we want something to be able to address the whole of who we are, just not this one section, because maybe we're just picking at a problem and not really getting to the root of the problem because we didn't look at the whole situation, or as much of it as we can. And so when I speak about holistic therapy in my personal practices, either that I do for myself or I share with others, they look like things such as actual therapy, talk therapist, going to see a therapist. It's looking at how I eat, the things I say to myself, how I take care of myself, just making sure I get some sun. Obviously, there's yoga. I feel like yoga was like the thing that led me into this whole holistic world. Being able to take care of, my physical body, how my blood is running through my body. Like, it gets really deep.
Right. Okay.
When we think about these things, of course, massage. I love to get massage for myself. One thing that was like in my self-care, holistic self-care, that's different now that I live abroad. It used to be a salt bath, like to sit in the Epsom salt bath a couple of times a month. There's no bathtubs here. It's not really common to have bathtubs. So,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's not very common in certain parts of Mexico. So now I have the beach, so I can go to the beach to get that salt detox. And I'll answer your question.
Yeah, you're good. Okay. You're getting it. You're getting down to it. Because with holistic therapy, I didn't realize that holistic is whole. Like it's everything that's in your body, to what you eat, what flows through your blood, what you're talking to yourself. Yeah. I just didn't think of that. I thought of it like, okay, like just, some natural breathing, just not doing all the medications and all that stuff. You're going to herbs, fruits, vegetables, rather than doing all the pharmaceuticals. I didn't look at it as like, well, yeah, it's like what you say to yourself. It's how you treat yourself. It's your whole entire body. It's your mind. It's your spirit. It's your emotional state. To take all of that into consideration, because I started yoga. Now I have not been consistent, not at all, but I first introduced myself back in like 2014. So I would like juggle in and out here and there, would do it every now and then, but never stick to like a whole practice, because sometimes I felt like it was a little intimidating because I didn't know much about the yoga background. It was something that I just jumped into, and I tried a few classes, but it still was just something where it's like I need to find something that's like easy to ease me in, because I know there's so many different types of yoga you can do.
Yeah. Your story is very familiar. You're not the only one who was like, yeah, I tried that, and it was just intimidating. And even my first time trying yoga, I think I felt the intimidation, but I also felt discomfort because I didn't connect at all with like the instructor. I didn't know much about it, and I just kind of went with a friend. So finding like the instructor to help you like build the relationship with yoga is key.
Okay.
I think it's key because that made a difference in what happened when I got stuck on yoga.
Okay.
Yeah, because I started a few years before I actually got into it. Okay. And I didn't like it. So you're not alone in that story at all. Just want you to know that. But yeah, holistic health can also include your doctor's visits and your medication, I believe, because it's still a way that you are taking care of yourself. I find that, I hope that we grow in ways where we understand how to bring holistic healthcare into our doctor's visits, because you learn about yourself a lot through a holistic perspective, and you become your doctor when you take a holistic perspective. And then no one can tell you anything about your body that you don't know, because you've been studying yourself, and you've been able to take care of yourself from different perspectives or heal yourself through so many different modalities. Herbalism, movement, diet for sure, your self-care, Chinese medicines. Like there's so much.
Right. Yeah, it's a lot, because like I even now are trying to understand like what teas to drink that kind of like help, because like I'm a type of person that like I suffer from like headaches, and sometimes over-the-counter medicine just does not work for me. So lately I've been sitting there like, okay, like let me look at some stuff. I've heard ginger can help with headaches, so let me try some ginger tea and see if this works for me. Sometimes magnesium can help. Definitely making sure that I'm hydrated and things like that. But it's something where for me, I'm like, well, if these over-the-counter medicines not work, then my body's trying to tell me something that I need to take like a different approach, or add some more of this into your diet, or you're not getting enough of this, or you're getting too much of that. And it's like taking the time to really pay attention to myself.
Yep.
And listen and be like, okay, what are you telling me? Is this working? No, that's not working. Okay, can we try this? Do you like this? And it's like, when you grow up, you're not really taught to listen to your body. And I'm learning that now as an adult to, okay, if something's off, take a minute and process and see what your body's trying to talk to you. And I'm also myself in talk therapy and learning how to deal with trauma, and then also knowing that yoga is a connection to that too, because your body holds some of your trauma, and yoga allows you to release in certain positions. And I'm just like, all of this stuff that is just naturally good for the body if you can just find
Yeah.
what works for you rather than, depending on so many doctors, and the doctor may not know because it's your body. Like, no one know your body better than you.
Right. And no one should think they do, and neither should you think someone knows better than you. Like, we have to
Right.
be attached to our bodies and know what's going on. Just where we live, like
Yeah, like
this
it's
is
what
our
house you.
home.
Right. It would takes care of you, it's house you. And it's just like even some of the small things of just being active every day, just walking a little bit, making sure your blood circulating, getting your water, add some fruits and some vegetables.
Yeah.
And it's like all these simple things seem like a lot because you're not used to it.
Right.
You're used to the other thing, the quick fixes.
Mm-hmm.
So when it takes time to really listen to your body and learn, you kind of like shy away from it. Like, I would really like to be better in my yoga practice.
Mm-hmm.
I just need to find a type that works for me.
And that's what I would recommend to you as a teacher. Like, find you gotta try. I tried so many classes when I first started. There was one teacher and she taught so many different styles, and I took them all, and I loved her as an instructor, so I loved any class she took just about. But yeah, it is about finding the right teacher. I left DC 3 years ago, and some people have not been back to yoga since I left. So finding a good teacher is a real
I can imagine.
I fuss at them for that, but y'all have to go to yoga. But also, it's the same for me. Once I left a certain studio, I had a hard time finding my own teacher. So it is a real thing to like find a teacher that you like and then try to stay with them until you're done with them. Maybe you outgrow them at some point. And
right.
That's okay. Mm-hmm.
And I didn't never think about the teacher part of it too.
Okay.
Of the instructor, of like, well, do you connect? Like, do you like how they explain things to you or, help you adjust into the posture? And I'm like, never thought of that.
Yeah.
So that's something that like now I'll have to take in consideration when I'm trying to figure out what type of yoga works.
Mm-hmm. The instructor is important too because they're guiding your practice. Yoga can be a vulnerable space. So it's good to, I think, if you're serious about your yoga practice in a way where it's intentional, then I think your teacher is going to make a big difference if you connect with them or not.
Okay. That's important to know.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you specialize in Reiki. What is Reiki?
Reiki. So, Reiki is energy healing practice that has been passed down from generations. There's a Japanese lineage, which most people go by, which is Usui lineage. I'm Reiki attuned in Usui lineage, meaning I was, say transmitted, but pretty much like, the Reiki healing energy from a Reiki master, someone who has more knowledge, experience, training, and symbols to use for Reiki for the passing of this healing energy. And then there's also a Kemetic Reiki lineage that I'm attuned to as well through Raseki lineage. This healing arts temple is located in Atlanta. And I'll send it to you just so because it is pretty cool.
Okay.
But it's the universal energy passed through the divine, which we share with others to help facilitate healing in whatever ways they need it in their body. Mm-hmm. Works with the chakra system, but also with just like pain, physical or emotional pain in the body that needs to be released or moved or restored. And so the one very common association that we make with Reiki with like Black people or Black church is laying of the hands, or use your hands to help heal people.
Right.
Or help the body heal or the spirit heal in whatever way it needs to do.
Oh, that's interesting. That's a nice way to put it, like the laying of the hands.
Yeah.
To heal, because like touch, I've just recently learned that like touch is very healing, soothing, and you don't realize that like if you're ever in an emotional state and someone touches you, then you can feel safe and like, oh, like let me just let this all out. And it's like touch is so important.
Yeah. Super important and super underrated as a modality of healing. Even just hugging people, you know, like our body responds to safe touch as our body responds to negative touch as well. And then the body remembers it either way. In one way it can be helpful, in one way it can be a trigger. So touch is a true healer. It's like an easy healer, but we don't hug each other long enough when we see each other, and we don't spend, some people don't like to be touched, which is fine. But we have access to a lot of simple healing modalities that we're so disconnected from just as people, I think. Just as society is just not set up in that way.
Right. So for hugging long enough, was it like either 10 or 20 seconds to release?
I've heard 20 seconds.
Okay.
I'll probably need to fact check that, but I think I remember hearing 20 seconds.
Yeah, because it released like a happy hormone and stuff like that when you actually like hug and hold.
Yeah.
When you hug and hold, not the just quick hug, like the hey, a little pat on the back, hey, but when you actually hug and hold. And I understand that because it's like when people hug, some people don't just hug everyone because it is like an intimate space.
Yeah.
But then it's like when you do hug someone you love and you exchange that energy, it's very healing, it's very calming. It's very relaxing in a sense, because I used to be, I wouldn't say like not a hugger, but I was very selective of who I hugged. And more, I would do it on a sense of if I was comfortable around you and if I knew you. If I didn't know you, I wasn't going to hug you. Wasn't gonna hug you, but then even with that was still like a quick hug. It wasn't the hold as you should have. Like, here, come here, hug me, hold me, don't let me go so quickly. And I feel like we do, as a society as a whole, needs more of that long hugs.
And I like, I brought up the hugs also because of like, I mean, when you think about it, like that's Reiki, it's kind of like Reiki because we're using just our body to exchange good energy with someone, or to share it if they need it, or to just share it with each other if you both have, the positive flow of vibes, if you will.
Right.
And it feels as subtle, but as magical, like as a 20-second hug. That's the best way to help y'all understand what Reiki is. It's the best hug in the world.
Right, especially when you're exchanging it with someone with good energy, good intentions, no hidden motives. Because you do have the people that are out here that are bad energy, and you touch them, and you're just like, oh, like you just drained me, and you get someone that's good, and you feel like your cup is refilled.
Absolutely.
As I like to explain things, like fill your cup, make sure your cup's full. Allow everyone get the overflow, and make sure you have people in your life that contributes to your cup too, and that doesn't just take from your cup.
You gotta share these things.
Yes.
We have to share these things.
Right, because we're just like big ball of energy.
Yep.
Big ball of energy, emotions. Like you said earlier, we need the sun, we need water, we need outside, we need nature. Like that all contributes to how we feel, how we grow, evolve, our emotions, our body, our natural healing.
Yeah.
And I'm just myself, I feel like I'm getting more towards that natural of like, I want to be outside, I want to be by water, I want to go find a lake. I'm in a city, so it's not as easily accessible, but it's something where like I definitely make the initiative to go to a beach or
Mm-hmm.
go to the park. And if the park has a lake, go sit by the water, enjoy the
Yeah.
breeze, the trees. If I do go on vacation, I spend a lot of my time on the beach, like
Mm-hmm.
right by water, getting the fresh air. My husband and I went to Aruba last year, and
Mm-hmm.
it was very calming, not common, calming. And we ate really well, and it was like the food was so good, the fruits were delicious. Something about fruits from other states, countries, it's just magnificent. It's just so good. And then it's like we came back to the States and our bodies was just like, take us back. Why'd you come back here? Like, what are you feeding us now? And it's just like, I like to vacation and vacation, not travel and like sightsee. I like to enjoy like what's in the area, the beach, the food.
Okay.
Like, that's me. Like, let me see what's going on around here. And relax.
Yeah.
Because I can't get that in the States.
Yeah.
And I know I seen the other day, like, you posted, I think it was like fruit, or you were fruit shopping. I was like, oh my God, that fruit looks so good.
Yeah. I've been on the fruit fast for about a week now, maybe a little longer. And yeah, it's one of my favorite things to do. Go get some fruit. I've been trying new fruits now, which is cool. Fruits I've like never seen. And my body has been responding really well to a fruit fast. I've been wanting to do a proper one for so many years, and I'm finally here now.
Okay.
And the things that are releasing from my body are amazing. I'm like, it's just like, and you know, just because we're talking holistic health care and things like that, like I am releasing so much mucus from my body from like whatever types of foods I've put in, you know, in the past. It's off and up and out, and I'm only having fruit. Like I'm just only having fruit and water, and it feels good to get the inflammation and the harmful things out of my body.
That's good. So how long are you going to do the fruit fast?
It's supposed to be until the 21st. My best friend asked me to do it with her. I was already on some type of like kind of a fast that led into this one. And it looks like I'm going to try to make it to the 21st. So it's quite long.
Is that what
it
was
feels
that
like
3
weeks?
3 weeks? Okay.
Yeah, it feels like about 3 weeks that it'll end up being. Fasting is another a beautiful addition to our lives.
Yeah. It gives you like discipline, because it takes a lot of discipline to fast. But it's like I've also heard and seen that like it's very beneficial for the body to do the fruit fasts. I know some people do water fast for like a few days to just kind of like reset your body or do like a detox.
Yeah, fasts have so many benefits. That won't even pretend to list them all. But definitely giving your body a break from processing food. Society set us up to think we need food all the time, and we don't. Most of us don't need as much food as we actually ingest. I know we like food, and food's good. And when we nourish ourselves, but we don't actually need as much food as we think we do. And we can survive without it for a little while, especially to heal ourselves, to take care of ourselves.
Wow, that's good. I might have to look into a fruit fast, because I love fruit. I know in the States we're a little limited on the types of fruit we can get, but I feel like I can probably make it work to try it and just give my body like a reset, a little break from all the processed foods, all the refined sugars and all that stuff.
Absolutely.
And just help reset.
And it can also be a spiritual thing too. Fasting can be very spiritual, if you allow it to be. Yeah. I'll kind of leave that point there.
You can. It's like everyone has their own spiritual beliefs, and I know that too, that fasting can help, because some people, there's so many different ways that you can fast spiritually. So I definitely understand that. Now, if for anyone who is like starting out or just getting or learning more about holistic care, what recommendations would you give for like a self-care practice for someone starting out?
Well, I'm always going to plug yoga as a practice. I would say introduce more fruits and vegetables into your diet. Don't just hop on a diet fad. Really like learn what your body needs as far as when it comes to your eating. It's going to be so much to learn, so don't think you need to learn it all at one time.
Mm-hmm.
And learn what works for you. What else? Movement, daily movement, regardless of what it looks like. So I know I plugged yoga, but like movement of any kind that feels good every day. Movement, water, sun. It really is the basics of things. Getting outside, but also there's so much. I don't want to overwhelm people and say like so many things, but like start where you are. And learn things for yourself. There are so many gurus and so many teachers and so many coaches and so many things. And these things are great, right? We can all use some support on these journeys, but it's going to take a level of inner knowing to know what's best for you. You know what I mean?
Right.
So there's going to be teachers. We all are teachers in some form or fashion on this journey. But you be your first teacher after some time. Get the support that you need, but rely on yourself, because that's how you learn what you need. That's how you become your best advocate and your best doctor.
So basically, you guys listen to your body.
Listen to your body.
Do a little research.
And be okay to experiment. Experiment. There's so many ways to be a holistic person. So you just need to try. You have to be open to new things because it's a new lifestyle. Don't try to convince no one who else is not trying to walk this lifestyle with you. Just, find your tribe, because sometimes it's hard. Once you start having your awakening of sorts, you want people around you to do better or to make some changes too, and they are not ready.
Right.
So you have to continue to walk your path, find the support that you need as you walk this path, because it's not always easy. And just find people that you can support and that support you as you do what you do, because it can be hard trying to convince people who don't want to change.
Yeah, you can only control yourself. Like, as much as you want to take people with you, they're not always ready. So it's like, allow this journey to be yours and do your research and find out what works for you. Is definitely something that I agree with, because even with the coaches and the internet gurus and all that, they're doing what works for them. So you still have to do the work and find out what works for you.
Yeah.
What about a little bit about like meditation? Is that something easy to get into? I've tried it. I sometimes just can't shut the brain up.
Yeah, so what I found with working with people over the years when it comes to meditation is still not completely understanding meditation, and that's no fault of their own. It's just we're still learning as a society, as a generation, etc., about meditation. Once we start to see it as a practice and as what it is when you sit down to practice meditation, will be much better to accept it. So for people starting meditation, I recommend guided meditations to listen to, or to like go to a place where there's other people meditating. I think that's helpful versus where you're just sitting down by yourself and you're trying to make yourself stop thinking, or to and that's not the goal necessarily, to stop thinking either. That's the other part of the mindset that we need to bring when we go to sit and meditate, is that, we have to, our brains need to catch up. This is actual mental work, to be able to try to master how your thoughts are when you want them to be like quiet or just passing. It's brain work.
Right.
So getting into mindfulness and getting
Mm.
into guided meditations, I think would be a better segue into a meditation practice, especially when you do it by yourself. And so when I say
Okay.
mindfulness, I'm thinking about being aware of what's happening around you or within you, and not trying to control it, just noticing it as
Mm.
what it is and accepting it, or making any changes that you need to make for a situation, because you can be.
Is there anything like you would like to add as far as getting into holistic healing? I know about, we just talked about people starting,
Mm-hmm.
if anyone out there wanted to start holistic healing, where they should start at. What about anything for anyone that has been doing it for a while and maybe feels like it's not working, or is there anything else or another way they can approach it if it's simply not working for them?
That is, oh, that's a great thing to say. And I'm like, ooh, no way to answer. Because everything would be, very unique to an individual, right? But,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, don't give up. And there's so many things to still try. There's so much.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much to holistic healing that there's so many things to try. And don't see holistic healing as something that can be separate from having to or needing medication, or like, what we would call like Western medicine, because
Mm-hmm.
we can be informed and still be, holistic and still go see a medical doctor, depending on, what the situation is. There's room
Right.
for both. If there's a person who would like to get off of a certain type of medication, there's room to incorporate holistic healing in that, or have like a good balance. You just, you can work with your professionals in your life, or, your doctors, your therapists, whomever,
Mm-hmm.
and still have a holistic lifestyle. You take what you need from all of these things, and apply it to your situation.
Okay.
Yeah, there's so much to learn. Also, different ways to learn. If you like to read books, then
Mm-hmm.
you can learn about holistic living through books. So you can podcast,
Right.
YouTube, you can go places, and, teach yourself a skill just so you can know it for yourself. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? For example, obviously people know that I'm a yoga teacher, so the assumption is I also do yoga every day, which is not true. But
Okay.
because
That's good
I'm a
to
yoga
know.
teacher, people, envision that I do yoga all the time, because I can,
Mm-hmm.
because I know how to do yoga and how to teach it. It's the same with Reiki. If you want to be able to self-heal with your hands, you can get Reiki attuned to treat yourself. And you don't have to be a Reiki practitioner to give to other people. It would be beautiful if you did, but you don't
Right.
have to. But what I'm saying is, you can have fun with holistic healing. You can also learn things for yourself. Some people enter the world of holistic healing through herbs, through
Mm-hmm.
gardening. There's so many entryways into this lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's like just basically finding what works for you as an
Mhm.
individual. And that's
Yeah.
good that you mentioned that, because I would think that if you teach yoga, you do yoga every day. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah.
Like, I would think every day you get up, and that's probably one of like my pressures is like, should I be doing this every day? How often should I do it? But then like you get those challenges that be like, oh, 21 days of morning yoga, and it's
Mhm.
every day.
Mhm.
And it's like, okay, so do I continue to do yoga every day, or can I now just do it a couple times a week? Like, how often would you recommend someone to do yoga for it to be beneficial a week?
So consistency in anything that you do, you're going to find the best benefits, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's in anything that you do. So that's why it's like yoga every day is a good thing,
Mm-hmm.
because your body will see the benefits, you will feel the benefits, your body will be happy. But maybe it doesn't work realistically for your schedule. remember I said movement every day is better than
Yeah.
anything. You know what I mean? Walking
Mm-hmm.
every day. People have lived long lives because they walk. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Yeah. They say
longevity comes
what
from
I think
walking.
10,000 steps is like for a healthy heart. 10,000 steps a day is what they
I don't,
say.
I heard that the 10,000 steps might be just a marketing thing. So,
Okay.
um,
It is hard to reach.
you don't know. So, um, but, just walking, every
Mm-hmm.
day, and especially I'll kind of add because I don't want to negate, this is something I want to like put out there specifically.
Okay.
We just had this pandemic the
Mm-hmm.
past 3 years. And I was very worried for people when the pandemic happened because, life got even more sedentary than it had been, in our lifestyle, in our lifetime, where
Right.
people are down the house more. So there's like less sun, there's,
Mm-hmm.
less social interaction, there's just a lot of less things and also a lot more things, but movement took a really big hit.
Yeah.
Um, and so I just remember thinking, like as one who practices a lot of different things, I was just like, "Ooh, they used to say, 30 minutes a day or an hour a day," but I'm like, now
Yeah.
I think is even higher just because of how long people have been sitting, resting on the couch,
Mm-hmm.
working from home, not really being physical most of the day. We should be moving most of the day when the sun's up.
Right.
And so like I got very nervous for people because like our blood's not pumping and
Mm-hmm.
people are dying earlier because heart failure or just all of these issues that we should not have as people and as young people. So I am a yoga teacher. I love teaching yoga, but I am a movement candidate. Like
Okay.
move,
Right. I
dance,
get it.
hula hoop, run, go to the
Mm-hmm.
gym, go outside, go for a walk, pick up a sport, like move.
Something. I haven't hula hooped in years. I should go buy one.
A weighted hula hoop will change your life. Weighted hula hoops are so fun.
Oh, now I'm gonna have
Um,
to look into that.
hmm So movement every day is more of my mission at this point,
Mm-hmm.
um, because it's necessary.
Yeah,
Hmm
and I'm like that too. Over like during the pandemic for myself, it was hard to stay in the house because I was like, I don't want to stay in here. So I would walk the neighborhood and just try to get like some type of movement because I wasn't working at the time, and it was just
hmm
like I don't want to sit here all day. Like, I'm going to go stare crazy because I'm
Yeah.
inside. I'm not going out. I'm like, look, we're outside. If you don't breathe on me, like, we're in open air. Like,
Yeah. I
we
had the
need to
same.
be outside. And it's like now my mission too is to just be able to move every day, no matter what I do.
hmm
Sometimes I put some music on in the house. I'll dance around, clean up, or go straighten up some stuff just to get some movement if I can't get outside or go take a walk. Like,
hmm
I take some time and move so
Yeah.
that I'm not just sitting all day, because I did have a job where I was just sitting.
Yep.
And even with that, was just like, I'm not moving. So, you
Yeah.
sitting, you're snacking, the weight's starting to stick. The pounds
hmm
are starting to add up because you're not as moving as much and you're sitting most of the time. So I definitely agree with that, of just being simple and just doing some type of movement every day as your goal.
Yeah.
Like, even if you, like, they say 10,000 steps a day for a healthy heart. I don't know. But even if you're someone that doesn't walk at all, maybe your small goal can be to reach 2,500 steps.
Yeah.
And then once you get comfortable with that, then, add another 1,000 on top of that until you build yourself up. I feel like a lot of people want to go from point A to point Z and
hmm
skip B, C, D, E, F.
hmm
Where it's like, no, like, take your time, start small. That way you
Yeah.
get used to doing this, and then you slowly increase.
Yeah.
And then before you know, you'll be at Z.
This takes me back to the conversation about meditation. So I find that some focused time every day or some silent time every day is
Mm-hmm.
helpful. Even if
Okay.
you're going to call it meditation or not, just some like quiet time for self,
Mm-hmm.
every day, whether that's in the morning, like journaling every day so you can brain dump is excellent for the brain.
Right.
I would say sometimes it depends on what you need at that time in your life. Maybe yoga every day is needed. So if that's
Mm-hmm.
what you do for a little bit, yeah, there's so many. I'm like, there's no rules.
Yeah.
Like there are and there aren't. So I think once we release the rules that we like, oh, you have to do it this right way. It has
Yeah.
to look this way that we made up in our mind. Once that
Mm-hmm.
can be released, like holistic healthcare, meditation, yoga, all of it kind of gets a little easier because now we're like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna sit down and meditate and try. And maybe the
Mm-hmm.
whole time you thought, you know what I mean? And it's
Right.
just what happened that one time. But then maybe there's a meditation session where you just, oh, all right, it's quiet up in here. The
Mm-hmm.
thoughts are chill. And it's
Right.
okay for that flow of some days is just different.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't do it wrong.
Right. Cause
Yeah.
like you have to get there. Like your first
Mm-hmm.
time you sit down and meditate is not just gonna be clear. Like your brain's gonna go. Your brain's used
No,
to going. So it's
absolutely.
gonna constantly go, go, go. And it's like you're
Mm-hmm.
training your brain to be like, okay, at this time, let me just shut it down
Yeah.
and just have a space of just not thinking and rest. And then,
Mm-hmm.
like you said, who knows? It could just be being in silent and just allowing your thoughts to just run wild until they
Mm-hmm.
decide to just clear.
Yep.
It's like you have to give yourself that grace to kind of
Uh-huh.
be like, okay, I'm not completely silent in
Right.
my mind, but I'm in a space where it's just quiet.
Yeah. And then after some time, like you said, it starts to kind of settle. You can't
Mhm.
go from, I was just outside, let me go meditate and think
Mhm.
that it's going to be quiet. Like you really do have to give it some time. So lately in my yoga classes, I've been taking my time transitioning from pose to pose because I'm like, now our body is about to do something different. Our mind
Mhm.
is somewhere else. So let's like prepare, get some time. And then the pose comes, like
Right.
give it some time. So yeah, grace and space for
Yes.
yourself.
Yes, you definitely have to give your body grace. It's something new
hmm
you're doing and you have to figure out what works.
hmm
You can't go from not meditating and then trying to meditate for 10 minutes and not hear nothing. Like,
hmm
that's how you, like, try a minute. I've read things where they like, oh, start with a minute or two.
Just try
And then,
sitting.
yeah.
Sitting still is hard by itself for some
That
people. You know what
is.
I mean?
Yeah.
There's so many things your body is doing. You're telling your brain to be quiet. You're telling your body to be still. You're maybe focusing on your breath. And this is all different things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is there anything you will want to or think should be talked about more? I like to give my guests an
Hmm.
opportunity to kind of like give a voice to something that they feel like should be talked about more.
The very first thing that popped in my head was like littering, which has nothing to do with nothing, but like it has a lot to do with a lot,
Mm-hmm.
actually. And it's so unrelated. Um, but when I read the notes you gave me, I appreciated this question, but I didn't think about an answer. But I
Mm-hmm.
would like for people to develop a relationship with the earth more, as we develop relationships with our bodies more. Also, like our bodies are our home, but earth is like legitimately our home. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, we just really have to do better. We have to do so much better as it comes to taking care of this place.
Mm-hmm.
And just our connection with it, with earth, with nature, with the
I
laws of the
agree.
universe. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
lot. But yeah, littering, like that's oh my gosh, I'm still like baffled at how much people still litter as a
Mm-hmm.
as a natural practice.
Mm-hmm.
And there's unlearning. There's so much unlearning in that. So
Yeah.
I don't know why that's what I'm going to share, but I am a Lorex right now. And I was like,
I get it. It's something even for like myself, like trying to recycle, and I do the best I can with what I know. But then it's like once I recycle, I can't control what they do with the recycling.
And that's
like,
yeah. And there's so
like
much
I can't control. Right.
No, I can't think of anything else. Even though that's like serious. I'm laughing at myself, but that's a serious note.
Yeah, that's a good topic. Like,
yeah.
Littering is a thing. It definitely hurts our planet, our earth, where we live at every day.
Mm-hmm. And we should have more pride. I remember there, like back in the day, street cleaning days were a thing where people would go out on Saturday morning and like clean the street. Have more pride in our neighborhood. Even here in Mexico, it breaks my heart to see how much trash is like in nature at times. Yeah. It's really bad.
Well, I want to thank you so much for doing this episode. Can you let everyone know how they can find you?
Yes, so on Instagram and on YouTube, I am The Sacred Life of D. That would be the best way to find me. There's some YouTube videos up there, some about, I have an interesting relationship with YouTube as I do with Instagram. For now, Instagram and YouTube are the best.
Thank you so much for listening. I hope you walked away with some valuable information. Make sure to follow the podcast on IG at And That's Okay Podcast. You can connect with me directly on there. Looking forward to the next episode. Remember to spread love, kindness, and make the choices that bring you peace.